What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we've got a pretty special topic to cover. Once again I'm doing a collab with SmugStick to make a two-part series. This time we're going to be looking at both Brolys. The title for this might sound a bit weird. What if the Brolys were twins? And it's pretty much exactly how it sounds. In the main timeline, what if the two Brolys were born together? Super Broly and Z Broly. As brothers, I guess. Since we do it with every video, let's set a goal of 3,500 likes with this one. And with all that out of the way, let's start off this scenario. On planet Vegeta, two kids are born on the same day. This is a surprise to Paragus. He was only expecting one kid, but it seems he has twins now. This isn't too weird. Twins are born occasionally, and it's nothing concerning. No one really bats an eye at this at first. But as the two are placed in their incubation chambers, the scientists around them note something odd. Their powers, they fluctuate so rapidly, and at their peak, it's incredibly high. They think it might be some sort of error at first, but as they continue to monitor the babies, they realize that it is no issue. Little did they know, they're in the presence of a legendary Super Saiyan. These two have widely varying powers, not just one, but both. Of course this would reach King Vegeta and concern him. So, what's the rational thing for him to do here? Send two children to an uninhabited planet that can kill them. Yeah, that seems pretty reasonable. So, both the kids are sent off. And just a heads up, both of them are not named Broly. That would be a bit confusing. What we decided is to keep Super Broly named as Broly, and as for Z Broly, we're gonna name him Cumber. If you look at Cumber from Dragon Ball Heroes, it's a pretty fitting name for this Broly. And since he doesn't exist here, it's fine to take his name. He won't care. Paragus gets word of this when it's too late. The two kids are already sent off. And just like he does in the Super Broly movie, he ventures out into space to try and find them. Although, he ends up getting stranded on Vampa. It seems now he's going to be stuck here with his two kids. And he notices exactly what the scientists are seeing. The two of them, their power fluctuates so wildly. Even as children, both of their powers are into the hundreds right now. And oddly enough, it seems like the two have a disdain for each other, but Paragus isn't concerned. He'll raise his two sons for revenge against the Saiyans. With that great power in their hands, he could use it to his advantage. But they're stuck on Vampa a lot longer than expected. As the two of them grow up, it becomes very apparent that the two are very different. Broly is a lot more quiet and to himself. He does have moments of uncontrollable rage, but he doesn't seem to enjoy it. He also befriends some animals on the planet, oddly enough. As for Cumber, well, he's the exact opposite. He has the same power and rage outbursts as his brother, but it's almost like he enjoys it. It seems like he's sadistic in a way, and Paragus actually gets kind of concerned. He kind of sees Cumber as a threat, but there's nothing he could do about it. His son, he's so wild and outrageous. He feels like at any moment, Cumber will try and kill them, but this only makes things worse. Once Paragus notices this, he keeps Broly a lot closer than Cumber. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy as he separates himself from Cumber. And it's not like Cumber doesn't notice this either. He knows his father is playing favorites. Broly is just as concerned about his brother too. He's not exactly too fond of Paragus, but he'd rather stick by his side than Cumber's. Cumber actually views his brother as a bit of a weakling. Not in terms of his physical strength. Broly is very strong, but he thinks his mind is weak. He's way too gentle to be a Saiyan, especially with the great power he has. The two of them grow stronger and stronger as they continue to grow up. And at one point, Cumber decides to make his move, attacking Paragus and Broly. Living on this planet with the two of them and sharing resources is not something that he likes. Cumber enters a fierce battle with Broly, with Paragus watching on from the sidelines amazed. He knew his sons were strong, but not this strong, and it's concerning. One is on his side and one isn't. He knows that if Broly loses this battle, he'll die too. But luckily, he has trained Broly a bit. Cumber had to mostly learn stuff for himself, and even though he does have some fighting experience, he's a little bit of a sloppy fighter. Broly actually does have some skill, and that does help make the difference here. The two of them are pretty similar in terms of strength, and when both of them are enraged, they do go a bit berserk. Thankfully, they don't transform just yet. With a shock collar, Paragus is able to keep both of them in check. Obviously, Broly doesn't like this, but Paragus says it's for his own good. If he goes berserk, or if Cumber goes berserk, they won't be able to be stopped. The fight continues and becomes apparent that Broly's gonna win. And just to help him a bit, Paragus even uses the shock collar. Cumber almost goes berserk, but is stopped by this. And Paragus sees a side of Broly that he hasn't really seen before. Broly's a very gentle guy, but this is self-defense, and he tells Cumber if he tries that again, he'll kill his brother. Cumber just laughs maniacally at this. He rips his shock collar off, and surprisingly, he flies up into the sky. They wonder what he's going to try and do, but a barrier then forms around him. He'd rather risk his life out in space than be here with them. And if he survives, he promises them that he'll be back. But he leaves one last parting gift too. In his hand, he charges a blast. It punctures right into the core of Vampa, and the planet begins to explode. Cumber flies off into space, and Paragus and Broly don't know what to do. Instinctively, Broly does the same thing that Cumber just did. He forms a barrier around him and more begins stacking around them. The planet begins crumbling and they're not too sure what to do, but then it explodes, and the two of them are flung off into space. Thankfully, the barrier does protect them, not only from space itself, but also the planet exploding. But the thing is, they can't really control where they're going. The planet exploding gave them huge momentum, and now they're going in an unknown direction. Well, at least they're off the planet now. But will they actually survive out here, and where will they end up? Let's move over to Earth now. This is about a year after Trunks arrived. Goku's waiting out in the middle of nowhere. Piccolo and Gohan are there too. They're not too sure about this, but Goku says to trust him. Apparently, something really weird happened in Trunks' timeline, but it didn't really amount to anything. About a year after Frieza arrived, something crashed into the planet. Trunks recounted a story. There were two Saiyans that came here, and they started fighting each other. The Dragon Team was helpless to do anything against them, but it didn't really matter, because in the end, the two of them killed each other off, as well as the other Saiyan that came along with them. They didn't know anything about these guys, and Earth was almost destroyed from this. Had those two not killed each other off, well, Trunks probably wouldn't have been alive. But Goku sees this as an opportunity. Trunks told him to not get involved, but Goku has a new idea. He awaits the Saiyan that's supposed to come here. One of them might be good. If the two are fighting each other, maybe there's a chance they can recruit one of them. They just need to find out more about these guys. And it's just like they expected. As they're waiting, they see some green glow in the sky. Nearby there's a massive explosion as this thing makes impact with Earth. Piccolo asks Goku if he's really sure about this, and Goku says this might help against the androids. Who knows, maybe if they don't try this, they'll die against the androids regardless. It's at least worth a shot. From what Trunks told them, obviously he wasn't there during this battle, but from what he heard from Gohan, these two Saiyans seem berserk. But as Goku goes over to the impact zone, he sees this guy. It's a middle-aged Saiyan and one that seems to be around Goku's age. When Paragus sees everyone looking over him, he jumps back kinda scared. Broly jumps in front of him to protect him, and Goku tries to calm them down. These guys don't seem too bad. Maybe the other guy that's supposed to come here is bad, but if these two were actually berserk animals, they would have been attacked by now. Goku introduces himself, saying that they're not going to attack at all. He knows the two of them are Saiyans and says that he is too, as well as his son right there. Far away on a cliff, Vegeta's standing there watching. That fool. It's so stupid for him to try and meddle with this. He departs the area, thinking for himself. Piccolo and Goku ask more about Broly and Paragus, trying to figure out things about them. Immediately, Paragus has some disdain for Goku. After he hears that he's a Saiyan, he's feeling a bit enraged. But he's a bit more level-headed this time. He can tell Goku's pretty young. And from what Goku says, he's been here since he was a baby. Apparently Planet Vegeta blew up, which Paragus didn't even know about. So even though Goku is a Saiyan, it's clear that he wasn't involved in any of this at all. And he's a lot more gentle than the other Saiyans that he's met. It wouldn't make sense to hold a grudge against him, so Paragus hears him out. After hearing their story, Goku proposes something. He mentions that they actually know about his brother coming here soon. Apparently Cumber's supposed to arrive on Earth eventually, probably seeking revenge against them. Yeah, it sounds kinda unbelievable, but he says that both of them die in the battle. He offers Broly another outcome. Train with them, get stronger, control his power. Paragus tells him that's not gonna work. He's already tried that with Broly, and nothing's happened so far. But Goku then points to Gohan. That kid right there, he's actually a little bit similar to Broly. What, that kid? He's not even a full Saiyan. Yeah, Gohan has temporary outbursts of rage too. Even though they're not as explosive as what Broly has, still, if he can learn to control that anger, maybe Broly can too. The two could work together, and Goku can help hone his power. He also has something pretty special to show off to them. He turns Super Saiyan. Paragus can't believe his eyes, and Broly's amazed too. Is that something that he could accomplish? Goku powers back down. With his rage, it probably wouldn't be a good idea for him to try and unlock this right now. But if they train together, he might be able to. He could defeat his brother once and for all. They're not too sure about it, but they go along with it. For a few weeks, training begins. And during the training, things immediately begin to go south. At one point, Broly does go berserk, and Paragus says that he could shock him to stop him. But Goku says he's crazy to try that. Even if it does stop him, that's no way to treat his son, and he's not going to learn anything from it. Instead of unnecessary abuse, they could stop him some other way. Try and get him to control this power. Broly is in his wrathful form right now, and as they could tell, he's a lot stronger than before. It seems he's using the power of a great ape in his base form. How do they know this? Well, Vegeta comments on it. Wait, Vegeta? Paragus is surprised to see him here. He hasn't met him yet. How is the prince here? He gets into an argument with Vegeta, Vegeta defending himself saying he's not responsible at all. The two continue bickering and not even focusing on Broly. Whatever, Goku could fix this. As those two sort that out, he and Piccolo will try and stop this. They go in fighting Broly together, and they are actually able to make some progress. They do stop him and calm him down a bit, and Broly's surprised. That's the first time it was stopped without him being electrocuted. That just proves that this can be tamed. They continue working with this. Eventually, Paragus and Vegeta sort out their differences. Although he still does have some disdain for Vegeta, him being the prince and all. Broly works a lot with Goku and Piccolo. He and Gohan also work together, developing an unexpected friendship too. Their personalities are pretty similar, not to mention their rage boost. And together, everyone helps to tame Broly. And it's good timing too, because not long after, they see a green glow again coming towards the planet. Goku can sense this power. It's malicious, insane. And Broly says there's no other person it could be. It's definitely Cumber. Paragus knew it was only a matter of time. He just hopes that everyone's training works. Cumber has definitely been training too. There's no way he's been out in space doing nothing. They see a green explosion nearby. Cumber crashes into the planet. He steps out of the crater, and they're surprised at his appearance. Obviously, he looks similar to his brother, but he looks even less threatening than Broly. And as he steps up to them, he's confused. Who are these other people here? It seems Broly ended up on an inhabited planet. He knew his brother was here after sensing him. That outburst of rage gave out a lot of energy and he could feel it from across space. But he doesn't care. These people are just in the way and he'll kill them too. But something catches Cumber's eye. He sees Vegeta. In the original Broly movie, he had an explosive reaction when he saw Kakarot. But here it's a bit different. His trigger is Vegeta. Paragus has always told him about this guy. Seeing him and hearing his name too, it instantly sets him off, as well as his brother being there and his father. Vegeta, Broly, Paragus. Cumber repeats these names as he's surrounded by a green aura. His power continuously rises, and the area glows an ominous color. He powers up. His hair begins standing up too, with a bluish tint around it, and then he fully transforms. He bulks up considerably. His hair has a greenish tint now. His eyes are completely blank, and he grins. Vegeta falls to his knees. No way. This is what they were dealing with? This is the legendary Super Saiyan. What? A legendary Super Saiyan? Goku's confused. He tells Goku this is far different from what he is. It's an uncontrollable Saiyan fueled by rage. They won't be able to stop this guy. Paragus is just a concern too, but Broly doesn't back down. He tells Goku he's going to continue fighting, and Goku won't back down either. Goku transforms into Super Saiyan. Gohan steps up too to help, as well as Piccolo. The humans realize this is a little too much for them, so they don't get involved. And as for Broly, he tells his brother he's been training. He goes into his wrathful form, but instead of being berserk, he's completely controlled here. Cumber laughs. There's no way they can expect to defeat him. A battle ensues. Broly launches towards his brother first, and the two clash midair. Damn, even with his controlled power, Broly feels that this won't be enough. He's starting to feel his Saiyan blood bubbling. He feels rage within him, but he's got to keep it under control, and Goku watches closely, making sure he doesn't lose this control. Blast hit Cumber from overhead. He looks up and sees Goku up there. He launches up towards Goku and is then kicked right in the face by Broly, before he can grab a hold of Goku. These two, they're allies. His brother really is a weakling. He can't even do this alone. This only humors him even more, and angers him. He then feels a massive blast hit his back, turning around and seeing Vegeta there, also in Super Saiyan. He's finally unlocked this, and this is the first time he's used it in battle, since he only got it recently. But even though this legendary Super Saiyan strikes fear into him, he needs to hide it. Paragus knocks some sense into him. Instead of having Vegeta grovel on the ground, he's gonna fight here. At least then he'll have some sort of chance. This only pisses off Cumber even more, and everyone continues their battle. But they notice something odd. Broly's power begins increasing too. Goku tells him he needs to control it, but Broly's having a tough time, and something different's happening too. His hair. It keeps spiking up a bit and then dropping back down. He's surrounded by an intense greenish aura. Cumber laughs, telling his brother to let out his rage. Stop being a weakling. Be like him. Broly tries to hold it back. He doesn't want to go berserk. He'll kill all his friends around here. It's like what Goku told him. If they fight berserk, they'll just kill each other off. But he can't stop it. The rage, it keeps coming up within him. And as he continuously gets injured by his brother, it only fuels him more. Eventually, he powers up. His hair completely spikes up, and he's surrounded by that aura again. But something weird happens. Paragus and Vegeta feel like it's all over. Two legendary Super Saiyans fighting each other. But Broly's turned into something different. After the transformation completes, his hair, it looks exactly like Goku's. It's a pale golden color. He has bulked up a lot. And his eyes, they look like they do in his wrathful form. They're yellow. Broly's confused too. Wait, he's in control. Vegeta sees what happened. That must be wrathful combined with Super Saiyan. He might not be a legendary Super Saiyan, but he's become something completely different. Cumber punches his brother, using all his power. Broly lifts up a single hand, catching his brother's fist, throwing him into the ground. Even Goku's amazed. Broly's in control? And he seems to be a normal Super Saiyan. Well, somewhat normal. This power is way beyond a normal Super Saiyan. Cumber launches back up at him, and they continue fighting, but it's clear that Broly is way ahead. Cumber's growing stronger and stronger during battle, but that's not even helping. Broly's growing stronger too, and getting more used to this power. Cumber jumps far back, planting his feet on a nearby cliff, launching towards his brother at insane speeds. Both his fists are out in front of him. Broly doesn't move at all. He simply puts two hands up. Cumber collides with his brother as his fists are caught by him. A massive shockwave is created and it knocks everyone back. Cumber is struggling as his hands are crushed by his brother, and Broly looks right into his brother's soulless eyes. He told Cumber if he tried to attack again, he would kill Cumber, and he was serious about it. Knowing how dangerous his brother is, he's not going to waste any more time. He knees his brother right in the chest. Broly creates an energy blast in his hand, flying straight up with it pointed at his brother. Cumber tries to stop himself flying up, but it's already too late. He feels an impact in his stomach. The energy bursts through his back. He screams. He's launched into space as the blast continues, and all the power within him explodes out. How? How did his brother defeat him? Those are the last thoughts running through his mind as he dies, with Broly standing there looking melancholy. He powers down, descending back to the ground. They can't sense Cumber's energy anymore. It's over. He did have to kill his brother, but it was necessary. They're safe now. And you know, things kinda did work out. Not only are they safe from Cumber now, but Broly is on Earth. He has a new home. Same for Paragus too. They don't need to be stuck on that wretched planet anymore. And Paragus has also given up on his revenge. All the Saiyans are dead besides these two. Goku obviously had no responsibility, and he can't blame Vegeta for the sins of his father. They'll just have to put the past behind them. And you know, maybe things will actually be okay here. Well, at least for a bit. Eventually, the androids do arrive. But things are a lot different this time. Thankfully, with all their training and a great training partner, Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, and Piccolo all got a lot stronger. And obviously, Broly is there too. Even though Goku does succumb to the heart virus, the androids are killed pretty quickly. But then Trunks arrives, surprised to meet Broly. That's weird. They ended up taming that guy and becoming friends with him. But he says that those two androids weren't the ones from his timeline. They still need to find the lab where those two came from. Eventually, they are able to locate the lab. And just like they thought, they see 17 and 18 there. Also not yet activated. Since these androids aren't activated, Krillin actually has an idea. What if they reprogram these androids? They seem to be just normal people that were turned into androids. Judging by Jiro's plans, this wasn't consensual. Maybe they could fix these two, make them good again. They're not too sure, but they take them back to Bulma's lab just in case. And while they're in Jiro's lab, they even find blueprints for the androids, meaning that Trunks now has a self-destructor mode. But before he leaves for the future, they encounter one more threat. Cell appears. Although, there's a big issue with Cell. He never actually got Broly's DNA. By the time that Broly arrived, Jiro decided that they already collected enough. He does have data on Broly, but during his fight with Cumber, the drones were destroyed by their sheer power. They were simply not durable enough to survive those shockwaves, so he doesn't know the true extent of Broly's power. And even though Cell is pretty strong, with all these people here fighting him, well, he's killed pretty quickly. And now Trunks even knows about him. He'll just have to keep training harder and harder up until when Cell arrives. But with this remote control, he can go back to the future and destroy the androids. This all worked out pretty well, and he's glad. He thanks everyone for their help, and tells Broly he was glad to meet him. Goku eventually recovers too, which is good. Everything's going okay, even if this is a separate timeline and nothing changes his timeline. Trunks leaves, and now the group has a time of relative peace.
It has been 7 years since the defeat of the evil androids. Son Goku and the Z Fighters enjoy peace at last, and Broly has accepted Earth as his new home. Goku gifted him with Grandpa Gohan's old home. Being surrounded by nature makes him feel right at home. Paragus lives with him, quietly enjoying his older age. He is seen as an uncle to the Son and Brief's family. Goten, Trunks, and Broly spend a lot of time watching after the animals, and training quite a bit. Gohan too goes to visit him. Sometimes it seems like they are the only ones who understand each other. The androids were freed and reprogrammed by Bulma. Now they have individuality, but have no recollection nor desire to destroy Goku. In fact, Android 18 fell in love with Krillin, while 17 and 16 live at Capsule Corp. 17 takes care of the hundreds of animals that live with Dr. Briefs. 16 is Bulma's lab assistant. All the androids had their bombs removed, and do live happy lives, though their love for battle persists. 17 in particular trains with Goku occasionally. Vegeta and Goku have plenty of matches through the years, and eventually welcome Goten and Trunks to join in. Through their years of training, they discover Super Saiyan 2, and even suspect that Super Saiyan 3 may be possible. However, they are unable to achieve it. Unlike the original story, Gohan is able to continue his training more thoroughly, thanks to Goku's presence, though he also has to keep up with his schooling, becoming the Great Saiyan Man, and actually talking Broly into being one with him as well, though Broly doesn't have enough tact, so it's a work in progress. Videl does eventually figure out who the first Great Saiyaman is, and forces Gohan to enter the World Tournament. Not many of the others enter, except for 18, Krillin, Goten, and Trunks. 18 and Krillin think they actually have a shot, since none of the other Z Fighters are entering. Broly, Goku, Chi-Chi, and Bulma go as spectators. Vegeta decides to be alone for a while. He has gotten many matches with Goku over the years, and he already knows his kid is going to win. But something strange happens during the tournament. Shin and Kibito appear to tell Goku that Babidi is going to attack, and to be ready. They need Gohan, and he may be hurt, but not to worry. In response to this, Chi-Chi slaps Shin, but Goku tells her to trust him. He feels good within him. Unlike the original story, only Krillin is with Gohan backstage. So when Videl gets hurt by Spopovich, Goku is not there to stop Gohan, who turns into a Super Saiyan 2 and immediately destroys Spopovich, sending him flying off. Shin, Kibito, and Goku stop Gohan from killing Yamu, who takes Gohan's Kili and heads towards Buu. They explained everything to Gohan, who takes care of Videl before following the rest towards Buu. 18 and the kids are the only ones to stay. Broly has a bad feeling about this, but Goku promises him that whatever this Buu guy is, there is no way he's stronger than the two of them. Dabura rushes to kill Kibito, but Broly appears before him and breaks his hand, forcing the Demon King to retreat. Broly, Gohan, Goku, Kibito, and Shin enter the ship, defeating Pui Pui and Yakon. Gohan takes on Dabura and does a lot better than he otherwise would, but the Demon King reveals something terrifying. Boo is already being revived. Goku turns to Shin to ask what he is talking about, but he has no idea. That's when Babidi chimes in, teleporting them over to a village. They wonder what the hell is going on, but they are soon interrupted by the terrifying scream of a familiar voice saying, Vegeta. Vegeta himself is blasted across the village into Broly, who catches him. He is badly wounded. Broly's eyes widened when he sees Cumber rise with a dark M on his forehead. Broly instantly exploded in power, turning into his Wrath state and rushing towards Z Broly, who is currently in his Super Saiyan form. Vegeta coughed up blood, explaining what happened. He had felt an incredible power, a very dark one, and decided to check it out. Babidi yelled from the other side, standing behind Dabura alongside Boo's egg. Babidi explained that in lieu of any evil hearts nearby, he resorted to finding the darkest energy on Earth. As it turns out, this guy was alive, just barely, seemingly frozen. He was weak and tired, but he was perfect for him to use. While the fighters were distracted, he was easy to take over, as his heart was filled with vengeance. None of the fighters could believe that he was still alive. Goku turned around to see that Piccolo and Tien had been there to help. They were laying about, defeated, but alive. Goku turned to Krillin, telling him to take all their friends to Kami's lookout and to gather the Dragon Balls. They may be in trouble. Krillin nodded, adding that he's also going to evacuate the village. Kibito healed them as they left, though Vegeta decided to stay and battle. The two Saiyan brothers battled once more, in an intense competition to once again see who was the best. Goku and Vegeta tried to get in and help Broly, but there was no opening in the fight. Not that it mattered, as Dabura tried to get in the way. Gohan told his father and Vegeta to go ahead. He'd take care of Dabura, but it was too late. Boo was already being born. Shin yelled at them to focus on the egg as it cracked open, and the evil Majin Buu was reborn. He was far worse than that Saiyan. Goku and Vegeta nodded at each other, changing gears towards Buu. Things were not going well for the Z fighters. Buu was an unprecedented being, and Broly was even stronger than before. It wasn't long before Goku and Vegeta were nearly killed, and though Gohan did well against Dabura, the slippery demon dodged away and forced Gohan to battle Buu. It was hopeless. Shin had no option but to teleport the three Saiyans to the Kaioshin realm, Kibito following close behind. But Goku was angry that Shin didn't take Broly with him. Shin tried to explain that Broly was the only one able to keep fighting and keep the other monsters from destroying Earth. He was just distracting them, but they realized something strange was happening. Buu was not listening to Babidi. In fact, he was actively disobeying him. He just wanted food. Babidi was angry at this, yelling at Dabura and Cumber to do something. But Cumber was busier trying to challenge Buu. Broly stood down below, watching in confusion. They were having a lot of inner struggles. Buu and Cumber fought each other in an epic battle. Babidi knew this would only cause them to kill each other, and Dabura was forced to turn Cumber into stone. When Buu stopped Cumber with his tentacle, Dabura took the chance and spat at Cumber. But this didn't sit well with Buu. He had just turned his food into stone. Buu continued his rebellion. Babidi tried to gain control again, but to no avail. In fact, he was nearly killed. Babidi teleported both himself and Dabura away. They needed to recuperate. So that was it. Broly took a big sigh. He wasn't sure if he could win. This guy had some crazy techniques. Broly approached Buu slowly, in a defensive position. The least he could do was distract Buu until everyone else healed up. It looks like that Dabura guy sealed Cumber for now. They had a chance to breathe. Buu was going to eat Broly, but the Saiyan promised him more food than he could ever want. Broly tried to reason with him. Broly himself was once seen as an unstoppable monster. Perhaps Buu could be changed. Buu agreed not to kill Broly as long as he got lots of candy. Broly sighed. He knew they would have to take Buu to the best candy stores, and sure enough he did. And over time, he realized that Buu wasn't evil. In fact, they actually really enjoyed each other's company. Though Broly had to stop Buu from eating people, Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan did their best to train at the Kaioshin realm. Gohan used the Z-Sword until it broke, releasing the old Kai, and his ritual began. Goku and Vegeta wanted to go down and defeat Buu, but Shin told them to let the Broly and Buu stuff play out, see where things go. Meanwhile, Babidi and Dabura talked to each other inside a cave. Babidi didn't know what to do. Both of his strongest beings were out of commission, and Dabura was in no position to fight Buu. But that Saiyan, Perhaps he could still control him. Dabura tried to argue against it, saying that he was a terrifying being, that Babidi wouldn't be able to control him, but Babidi laughed, looked at Dabura, and shot a magical blast through his chest, saying that he was sorry, but Dabura was no longer needed. Miles away, the evil Cumber was unsealed, the stone fading away. He was extremely angry. His muscles began to bulge up, and he was going to find his brother and kill him. While Boo and Broly were hanging out, eating some candy, Broly felt his brother's key. He jumped up, looking around for him. Boo was confused. He wasn't sure what was happening. Before Broly could explain, his arm was blasted, nearly completely shut off. It was unusable, and he writhed in pain on the ground. Boo's eyes widened, walking over to his new friend. Cumber laughed and boasted, saying that Boo was next, and that he had finally defeated his brother. But Boo didn't pay attention. He just healed Broly. He couldn't believe that this had just happened. Steam pouring out of him, Cumber cocked an eyebrow as he realized something was being emanated from Boo. Broly's arm was healed. He couldn't believe it. He thanks Boo, but once he looked up, he didn't see the regular Boo. He didn't see the Boo he knew. He saw a gray, distorted version of him. Before he could even act, he watched him turn the pink Boo into chocolate and eat him. A transformation began to occur, with the two Brolys watching from either side. Super Boo was born. He turned to attack Broly, but stopped himself, tilting his head, smiling slightly. Did he recognize him from his previous version? Super Boo said that someday their battle will come, but for now, he turned towards Cumber. Cumber knew what was going on. They wanted a battle. Thus, Super Boo and Cumber rushed at each other again, clashing over the sky. Broly wanted to get in and help, but he heard the sound of teleportation behind him, a hand being placed on his back, and the voice of Goku saying, "Tag out." Goku and Vegeta had teleported over to Earth, while Shin teleported Broly back to the Kaioshin realm. He wanted to help out his new friend, but Shin argued that even if Boo was a good guy before, this isn't the same being. He needs to rest, get healed, and get rid of those gross clothes. Kibito snapped his fingers and changed Broly's outfit into a Kaioshin one, but Broly got angry once he realized that Ba's ear was gone. Kibito said sorry quickly and teleported Ba's ear back. Goku and Vegeta did rock, paper, scissors to see who would fight Super Boo. They had already seen Cumber in action before. Super Boo was more interesting. Vegeta ended up winning, having the privilege to battle Super Boo, interrupting the fight by getting in the way. Goku, on the other hand, got to battle Cumber. They were both extremely powerful beings. He hung on to life by a single thread. No doubt that Zenkai boost was incredible, plus that Majin power. That was something else. But neither Super Saiyan 2 nor their training at the Kaioshin realm was enough. They wouldn't be able to hold on much longer, and it wasn't long before they were tossed to the side, while Super Boo and Cumber wanted to continue their battle. Goku and Vegeta supported each other as much as possible, at one point pushing Cumber to the side with a blast, a Kamehameha, and a final flash, twirling with each other. This put Cumber out of commission just for long enough for the two to focus on Super Boo, but Boo was getting tired of it. He recognized this Cumber guy was definitely related to Broly, but Broly didn't like him. This gave him free reign to win. While Goku and Vegeta were focused on Super Boo, he let a part of his body flop down to the ground, rushing over to the downed Cumber. Babidi, who had been watching the battle the whole time, tried to stop the piece of Boo with his magic. Cumber was his only hope of ruling the universe, but the piece simply absorbed Babidi as well. Babidi and Cumber were dragged onto Super Boo, and he was transformed once more into an even more terrifying being. Goku and Vegeta couldn't keep up anymore, though they did try their very best. Gohan was almost done with his training. The ritual was just taking a little bit longer, but just as he finished, Goku and Vegeta were also absorbed. Gohan mourned the loss, but just hoped that Krillin and the rest had gotten the Dragon Balls already, because he promised himself that he will kill Super Boo. Gohan was about to be teleported back down, but even the old Kai himself wasn't sure if he would be able to win after Super Boo absorbed both Goku and Vegeta. Just in case, he gave Broly and Gohan his pair of earrings, the Potara, saying that if they find themselves against the wall, then to use them, they will surely win. Gohan and Broly were teleported down. Gohan explained to Broly that he will fight first. He needs to prove himself. This is his battle. Broly tried to argue, but Gohan said that he doesn't need to fight his brother another time. He has suffered enough already. Broly took a step back and watched Gohan battle Super Boo. At first it looked like he was winning, but slowly he started to predict all of Gohan's moves. Goku knew his son very well, and his punches were the most painful thing Gohan had ever felt. Taking after Broly, he even created an aura around himself, a powerful green aura that prevented Gohan from approaching him. Gohan was locked in a beam struggle, which he lost, and was sent flying into a mountain. Before Super Boo could attack, Broly appeared before Gohan. Gohan told him to stay calm, that they can't afford him losing control. Broly smirked, saying that, thanks to Goku, he's able to control it a lot better now, exploding his aura into a Super Saiyan form. Super Buu and Broly both opened their auras into the round shield. The two shields clashed against each other. The impact of it could have destroyed the world. It certainly shook it like it would. It was a stalemate. Neither of them could move, but Buu took this opportunity to whip his tentacle back, charging the candy beam. Gohan saw this, recognizing it. He yelled at Broly to use the Potara. Broly asked why, but there was no time for questions. Gohan repeated once more, "Now!" Broly placed the Potara in his ear. His body was launched towards Gohan's, narrowly avoiding the chocolate beam. The two bodies clashed. The true rebirth of fusion. Gohan and Broly. From the Kaioshin realm, the old Kai and Shin applauded. Now this would certainly defeat Buu. The fusion asked himself what they should be called. Brohan? Goalie? It didn't matter. Bursting into Super Saiyan, they rushed towards Super Buu, relentless in their attack. Super Buu used everything in his arsenal, but none of it was enough. The final flash, the Kamehameha, even the Omega Blaster wasn't enough. Broly and Gohan made a great pair, and though they lamented having to kill their friends in the process, they knew this was for the greater good of Earth. After all, they can use the Dragon Balls afterwards. They'll bring everyone back. The fusion pushed his arms back, a green and yellow orb appearing in his hands. He pushed it forward, firing his ultimate technique, the Omega Masenko. The blast fired in spurts, ravaging the entire side of a mountain and Buu himself. It didn't last long. Buu was defeated. The only thing that was left was Cumber's necklace on the ground. The fusion went over to it, picked it up, and looked at it. He was sad it had to end like this, but at least now, Earth was safe. A shooting star shot above them, and they defused. Gohan and Broly fist bumped, while the Kaioshin realm celebrated. Not long after, Krillin arrived, with all 7 Dragon Balls. Broly was the one to make the wish, saying to revive everyone killed during the Buu altercation, and those who were inside of him, except for the evildoers. He thought that would cover it, but it did surprise everyone when Majin Buu himself was revived too. But Broly made sure to promise everyone that he's not such a bad guy, and that he's gonna live with him on Mount Pautsu. Paragus, who arrives with everyone else, was in shock. He wasn't very excited about that, but he couldn't really argue against his son, and thus, the Earth was saved once more, thanks to the efforts of the Z-Warriors, and especially Broly, the Earth's very own legendary Super Saiyan.
So what did you guys think about this video? Leave any thoughts in the comments below. I'd like to see what you guys think. And as always, if you liked the video, be sure to drop a like. It really helps out the channel, and let's try to hit that like goal too. It lets me know you want to see more like this. If you haven't already, why not subscribe? As well as hitting the bell icon to be notified about any future parts of this What If, or any other videos that I upload on my channel. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Thanks to SmugStick again for collabing with me, and I'll see you all in my next video.